Good morning, friend. My name is Lisa Thompson, one of the pastors at our Bayside Granite Bay campus. So in your Devo today, Pastor Kevin challenged us to live our prayer life out, that it's not enough to pray for things we want to wish or want to happen, but actually it's a matter of operating in a climate in which God can move. That we need to put ourselves in situations where God can work as we surrender our will to His. Friends, I was challenged by this in my own prayer life. There are prayers I've been praying for a long time that I have become resigned in. Prayers for family and friends who don't know Jesus, areas in my life that I continue to struggle with, ways I want to see my own kids take hold of their faith, friends who are in marriage crisis, and the list goes on. Maybe you can relate and have a list of prayers you have prayed for a long time, or have people who have entrusted you to pray for them. You see, it's easy for our prayer life to become more wishful thinking instead of faithful living. And what I'm reminded of today is that when I approach prayer focused on myself, my will, the outcome I want to see, my expectations, I will pray defeated. But when I approach prayer focused on God's will and put myself in situations where I can see Him work as I live my prayers out, God works. And this is what Jesus modeled so beautifully in John chapter 17, verses 20 through 26. Jesus is praying to the Father, asking that His disciples would be unified and that they would know God's love. But He also puts Himself in places where He can live His prayer out by being an example of unity and God's love to His disciples. Listen to what He says in verse 25 and 26. He says, "O righteous Father, even though the world does not know you, I know you, and these know that you have sent me. I made known to them your name, and I will continue to make it known, that the love with which you have loved me may be in them, and I in them." I was thinking about this in a woman who I've recently come to know who attends our church. And unfortunately, she's been in a cancer journey, battling colon cancer. And I've actually never encountered someone who embodies such joy despite her daily difficulties and her unknown future. And she was sharing about how God was using this major trial to minister to so many people. She's been inviting them to church, serving and encouraging them. Many who didn't even have faith are seeking her faith right now because of how they're witnessing God at work in her life, especially in these difficult circumstances. And at one point in our conversation, I stopped her and I asked, "So what are you praying for right now?" And her response was what is not what I expected to hear. "Ask to be changed," she said. Her prayer is for God to change her so that she will believe and have complete faith that God's will would be done. While a cure for cancer and full recovery is her deep desire, her deepest desire is that God's will would be done. And as she puts herself in situations where she can live this prayer out, God is strengthening her faith to believe in His greater purposes and plans through her cancer journey. Friends, what a beautiful example of what it looks like to live our prayers out and see how God uses hard things that we sometimes want to wish away as good things that God wants us to give away. So as you go about your day today, don't underestimate what God is setting in you to pray for when you come to Him with a surrendered posture to pray for those things that are on your mind and heart. And I love what Oswald Chambers says about prayer. He says, prayer does not fit us for the greater work. Prayer is the greater work. And like my sweet friend Shelley, producing a faith of those watching you live your prayer life out.